Hey everybody, happy Monday. Happy June 1st. Can you believe it's June 1st? When we started all this back in March, I don't think any of us could have imagined that we'd be still doing this in June, but we are, and I'm glad we can be together. So today is just about some good old hymns. I think every single one of them I've played before during this time, but one of the real great things about good old hymns is they're good old. And doing them more than doing them often is a good thing. Anyway, I'm going to start with How Firm a Foundation. Just that rock of love and comfort and support God offers us. Every time I do this hymn, I think about actually a friend of mine telling about Bishop Leontine Kelly loving that last line of this hymn that says, "I'll never, no, never, no, never forsake." That's God's promise to us. I'll never, no, never, no, never forsake us. So that's kind of a fun thing to think about. I can go from there into Blessed Assurance, which just one of my very, very favorite hymns, and certainly something I think we need right now. End with Amazing Grace. Interesting thing about Amazing Grace is as we're confronting yet again our America's original sin, Amazing Grace is a song. In a lot of ways, it's a confession by a former captain of a slave ship, and so we are centuries later, still needing to sing of that amazing grace that can save a wretch like me. So, anyway, that's today's hit parade. So I hope you can just sit back and enjoy and be inspired. Have a good rest of your Monday night, and I'll see you again here Wednesday at 5. Take care, stay safe, stay cool till then. Pray for our country and for our world. Bye-bye.